we are about community self-determination, how you break colonialism from the bottom up.
Welcome to the final Cost of Living podcast. My name is Noélie and you're listening to episode 5 on hope. You're going to be listening to recordings of a live call that we've been organizing with the Gastivists and CEO on the cost of living crisis. And for our final call, we invited 3 speakers to bring in a global perspective. The first speaker was Rita from Lebanon, who shared the reality of living through extreme energy crisis and financial crisis, and how people are organizing in the face of it. We had Omar from the Movement of Movement Coalition, an African-wide coalition that is doing the Don't Gas Africa campaign, where they're fighting against the extraction of gas for European consumption. And finally, we had Arturo from Puerto Rico, who shared the Case Pueblo project. And this is whom you're going to be listening to on this podcast today. Case Pueblo is one of the most inspiring projects I've heard of. It's pure bottom-up organizing, assessing the needs of a community and just going out and providing it for themselves. I think our movements aren't particularly good at really defining the world that we want to be living in. And I really hope that this project can help you believe in what we can achieve, and that you can leave this podcast with the agency that Case Pueblo really showcases of just going out there and organizing change.
So that's Puerto Rico in the Caribbean, and we're a hotspot of biodiversity. Huge. It's a significant, it's an extremely important region for the planet. And as I told you, Puerto Rico was invaded by the U.S. Navy in 1898, and we had been from a Spanish colony, we became a U.S. colony at that point, and that's the reality ever since. We are dependent. All the political power resides in the U.S. Congress and so on, even if we have appearances of a local government and so on. So as I told you, Case Pueblo is in the middle of the mountains in Puerto Rico, and we are about community self-determination, how you break colonialism from the bottom up. We don't have political power for self-determination, but at the community level, perhaps we can make decisions and take control of our own destiny. One thing that we have to confront for you to understand where we're coming from protesting unsustainable proposals, like the intention of the mining companies to do open street mining in the central part of the island. And as a colony, colonies for extractions. And we decided that was incompatible with our reality, and we got organized to confront that reality. And only one person showed up in our first main protest. And we decided that science itself was not enough to know about the issues. We need to engage with the people, and we need to embrace with our culture to build community. And everything we do is science, culture, and community for social transformation. So from one person showing up in 1980, took us 15 years to stop mining from happening. We transformed that reality by merging those 3 critical elements. At some point, the government wanted to build a natural gas pipeline, a very corrupted proposal to transform the bunker, the petroleum, a centralized energy setup to a natural gas, fossil fuels energy setup. The same contradictions, the same reality, a different fossil fuel. And we got organized again to stop that from happening. And instead of having one person showing up, we have 30,000. We use from the very beginning science, culture, and community. It's a more complicated story. But we were able to stop that from happening. But we are about proposing alternative. We have been proposing a forest. We have been managing the forest. Casa Pueblo is a community organization with a radio station and our gallery. We are managing 2 forests. We have a school inside a forest. And as we were managing the land, we realized that the fossil fuel system was the greatest threat for conservation of biodiversity. And in 1999, we installed the first solar system. We learned, we experienced, we experimented with the technology. We upgraded in 2007. And in 2017, that's Casa Pueblo, we were fully producing all the energy that we require at the point of consumption where it's needed, instead of decentralized that is requires transmission and distribution lines. We're generating where it's needed and used. And the benefit of producing energy, the capacity to do work, it's the wealth associated to power generation is retained within Casa Pueblo and within the community. After Hurricane Maria in 2017, what happened is that we were ready and people started to show up to plug in their equipment, and we became an energy oasis for the community. And we started by distributing solar lamps at that time to everyone in the community as a means to help them confront the aftermath of the hurricanes. The hurricane is a natural event. The aftermath is a human disaster. Government not responding properly. Our community was like 4 months without power, and some in the urban areas, in rural areas, up to a year or more without power. The last 30% where energy was restored. And the idea was to provide solar lamps for to confront the crisis, but was also a means to show people, teach people, educate people on how to yield solar power, specifically for lighting. We upgraded. We did 10 houses with a small 2 panels and energy storage for a respiratory equipment, for a small fridge for the insulin and medication. And we did 10 houses as an urgent energy, as a backup energy system in this rural community. At some point, we decided to do full houses like Casa Pueblo. Why not? People with chronic diseases, they deserve energy security. And we have done over 130 homes are now running like Casa Pueblo with solar power. We have done critical infrastructure like the fire station, the elderly home, grocery stores for food security in rural communities. We have done not only the radio station, but the transmission tower is also running with solar power. That was installed at the end of 2019. This is the elderly home. Now with energy security, this is the elementary school. And again, another project done by Casa Pueblo without any single cent from the local government. This is not done with US money either. Completely philanthropy, people raising money at communities in the US and other parts, but Puerto Ricans and philanthropy helping. This is a restaurant. Prepare meals is important. Also job creation, economic activation to reduce the burden of the electrical bill on the operation of these small businesses. They're not wealthy people, they're workers. The owner of the restaurant is a worker at the same time. And we built a solar cinema as well for entertainment. So we have been addressing energy for health, for economic activation, for communication, for entertainment, for medical reasons, to confront poverty as people are producing their own power, to decolonize Puerto Rico. And this is the microgrid that we have built with the Honol Foundation. Alex Honol is a free a climber that he doesn't use ropes, and he's a professional one. He has been helping our community to build this microgrid at the point of the highest energy demand, where most jobs are created, where the pharmacy is, where the pizza place, the bakery, and other locations. And the idea is to provide power to this business. They are going to pay for the energy, not to the private company, fossil fuel driven. They're going to pay the energy bill to themselves. and that money will be used for operational cost. That money will be used to build up an emergency fund, and most of the money will be for social reinvestment to drive wealth from within the community to help low-income families also reach energy security. Money that will be reinvested to help the community drive the transformation from within. And confronting gender inequalities is also important. 3 out of 6 installers were females. And this is how downtown Adjuntas looks like right now. You can see the installations in downtown Casa Pueblo, houses being done. We have a new company in Adjuntas that was organized and have created 6 jobs, and they're doing the installations for people who can't afford to install the solar panels. Even the food truck is running with solar power in Adjuntas, but because they know the technology is there, it works. And it's important for the daily operation, but also for climate adaptation, because we are at a greatest threat for climate change in the Caribbean. We're paying a higher toll. The culture, this is our solar forest, functional sculptures. These are trees made out of branches with solar power. Is to educate people, is to attract people, is an energy oasis. If there's a power outage, you can actually go there. So we're promoting energy independence for the island as a means to decolonize, to set up Puerto Rico in a better situation, to decide its political future.
A big thank you to everyone who listened to the podcasts, to the people who joined the live calls, to all the speakers, of course. A special shout out to Lucy, who created the jingle for this podcast. And of course to Pasco and Emma, who've been organizing the calls and the podcast since day one with me.